Good morning, traders. I'm Emily Advani, the CEO of the Investment Banking Institute and your host here at NewsWare's Trade Talk. Joining me is trading anchor Bill Olson, who brings more than 30 years of institutional trading experience to our program. At Trade Talk, we provide the facts, themes, and trading ideas for the day ahead. Today is Monday, December 9th. CPI and PPI readings are on watch this week ahead of next week's FOMC meeting. Last week, markets ended mixed with the NASDAQ Friday's clear winner. The index added 159 points or 0.81%. The S&P 500 also closed in the green, picking up 15 points or 0.25%. The Dow ended down, dropping 123 points or just more than 0.25%. Bill, let's get into a new week with what is happening in the markets this morning.
Yes, good morning, Emily. I'm watching the S&P. We're down 0.04. Yeah, we're heading for a slightly lower opening. Listen, you were right. The key inflation data this week is going to be paramount for the markets with the CPI and the PPI figures coming out on Wednesday and Thursday, and that's really and the import-export prices on Friday. Yeah, that's important too. But really, Wednesday and Thursday's announcements, because those are the key announcements that are coming in ahead of next week's Federal Reserve meeting. What do we see today? Advertising stocks are moving higher due to M&A activity. I see Apollo with Workday. They're being added to the S&P 500. They're replacing QRVO and AMTM. That's going to be effective December 23rd. Big week for earnings. We got Oracle, Toll Brothers, Play, GameStop, Adobe, Ciena, Costco, Broadcom, and Lennar all scheduled to report this week. Then we're turning our attention over to Europe right now, and we are seeing some, mostly positive, movement. I mean, the DAX is down 23 points or 0.12%, but the FTSE's up 0.5%, 0.52%, and the CAC is up 0.5% as well. I mean, so that's all positive going into the morning for the U.S. I mean, you look at Germany, and yes, markets are looking forward to the ECB announcement, and a rate cut is expected, but there's also some political discord going on in Germany and, of course, France. London, you're seeing some nice gains in the mining stocks, and in France, hey, the banks and the luxury stocks are higher. The luxury stocks are higher because of the indications of loosening monetary policy out of China, which really will benefit that sector. Speaking of Asia, I mean, let's look at what happened. The Nikkei jumped, 69 points or 0.18%. Saw some gains in tech stocks. Hang Seng, that rallied 548 points. That's 2.76%. Mainly due to the fact that the Politburo has pledged to implement more proactive fiscal and monetary policies to boost domestic spending. That's a nice positive, nice shot in the arm. And in China, the Shanghai finished down, about 0.05%. Consumer price inflation dropped to a 5-month low in November. That's kind of deflationary, so it was flat to lower. I'm not quite sure of the timing of the Politburo's comments, because that should have boosted China. I think it probably happened after the Chinese market closed. We're taking a look at oil this morning, and oil is trading higher. We're seeing gains of over 1%. WTI is at $68.13. Brent is at $71.99. I mean, the key aspect is, Middle East tensions are higher after the overthrow of Syrian President Bashar. But the news that China's Politburo is embracing the idea of loosening the monetary policies for 2025 has traders expecting an economic rebound in China for next year. So that's what I have for you in terms of morning market update, Emily.
And Bill, one of the things you mentioned in there, amongst other things that we'll get to throughout the show, like those economic events, it's a big week for earnings. Some really big names, market movers on the list of notable earnings that we're anticipating. So Bill, give us a rundown of what we should be watching when it comes to earnings action.
Oh yeah, I mean, nothing really out this morning, here in the U.S. But after the bell, we got Vail Mountain Resorts, ticker MTN. Michael, Tom, Nancy, their EPS is for a loss of $5.15. Expected move is 6.71%. C3AI, that's ticker AI. Apple India, their EPS is for a loss of 16 cents. Expected move is 17.7%. Oracle's also coming out after the bell. Their EPS is $1.48, and the expected move there is 8.7%. So, And some good earnings. We'll have to see. We'll have to wait to see how they come out. But we are watching the earnings closely this morning, Emily.
And Bill, one of those earnings we're anticipating is Toll Brothers. That was your pick of the day Friday, and we will do a check-in on that pick by the end of the show. Before we get there, other things to get through, including economic events. We're starting off slow this week. Today on Monday, but some big numbers coming out later in the week that are certainly going to be market drivers, especially as we anticipate next week's FOMC meeting. So, Bill, what is going on in terms of economic events?
Well, at 9 a.m. Eastern time, we get the consumer inflation expectations. There's not going to be any Fed speak this week. The Fed officials are on blackout. The blackout period has begun, but the key report really is the consumer price index that's coming out on Wednesday. The most recent estimates indicate that the rate is going to climb to 2.7%, up from 2.6% in October. Monthly inflation is expected to remain at 0.2%, and core inflation is likely to hold steady at 3.3% annually. So, that's really what we're looking for on Wednesday's numbers. But we're getting close. The countdown is 48 hours away for that report, Emily.
And Bill, as we're counting down, you'll be able to see all that data hit the tape because you have your NewsWare, you have economic alerts set up. So as soon as that information is published, you'll have access to it first. Other types of news and information you have access to, you're looking at things like merger news and shareholders meetings, buyback news, catalyst calls. You look at news headlines with stocks grouped together like your FANG stocks and your Dow 30 stocks. So Bill, what else do you see is possibly moving the markets today?
Doing a quick data check. I'm looking at my Dow stocks. I got 18 higher, 10 lower, and 2 unchanged. I'm looking at my FANG stock. I'm seeing some weakness. Tesla's trading higher, about 2% higher, 2.4% higher, but everything else is flat. I'm looking for some of the news on the tape this morning, like Apple. Apple's been hit with a lawsuit over its decision not to implement a system that would have scanned cloud files for abuse of material. That stock is trading, flat to lower this morning. Amazon, India's court is looking to expedite Amazon's challenges to the Flipkart Walmart combination. Tesla, hey, Chinese car sales rose sharply last month, driven by government subsidies and sale campaigns. That's why you're seeing Tesla up 2.46% this morning. Looking at Dow Jones 30 stocks, talking NVIDIA. Chinese regulators are probing NVIDIA on suspicion of breaking its monopoly laws. Disney, ticker DIS, Moana 2 saw 135.5 million in ticket sales over the weekend. That's positive. What else do we see? UNH shares are starting to rebound this morning. The bounce back after that weakness last week, which was caused by the death of its CEO. In terms of merger news, Omnicom is going to be acquiring Interpublic Group. It's a stock swap deal. That's ticker IPG. In terms of shareholders news, Mobileye is having a capital markets day today. And Novartis, ticker NVS, Nancy Victor Sam, they're holding a virtual investors day today with a start time of 10 a.m. In terms of buyback news, Train, ticker TT, TomTom, they announced a new 5 billion share repurchasing plan. And ticker LSCC, Larry, Sam, Charlie, they announced an additional 100 million stock repurchasing agreement. What do we see here in terms of catalyst calls? John Deere, ticker DE. Citibank ups the price target, but they opened up a 90-day negative catalyst watch on the stock. And the same thing with Caterpillar, ticker CAT, Charlie Apple Tom. They opened up a 90-day catalyst watch on the stock, but they did hike their price target. So kind of interesting. But that's what I have for you in terms of news hitting the tape this morning, Emily.
This is the type of data that NewsWare delivers daily. It's factual, it's market moving, and our alerting functions bring it to your attention as it happens. Go to www.newsware.com now and sign up for the trial and see for yourself the benefits that professional Newswire delivers. It is now that time of the show for the Trade Talk pick of the day. Bill, what do you have for us to start this week?
I'm going to go with Oracle, ticker ORCL. Earnings are out this afternoon. EPS is $1.48. Expected move is 8.7%. Yesterday's call volume 76,583 versus call volume of 48,551. Very positive. Open interest 283,028 to 292,195. That's equal. It's flat. Major brokers. I see 2 major brokers out there. They have been raising price targets. So I like that. I'm always cautious on Oracle. It's one of the stocks that I question going into earnings all the time. But if I can get in at 193.5, I think it'll be a good trade. I think I'll be able to get my 1%. So that's my pick of the day, Oracle ticker ORCL with a price target of 193.5 this morning, Emily.
Bill, Oracle, it is today on that earnings play leading up to earnings, looking for a specific entry point. That was a similar play that you had on Friday. And as promised, by the end of the show, we will do a recap on that. So stick with us. But first, let's take a look at the current breaking headlines that have hit the tape in our hot off the press segment. Bill, take it away.
OPTX, Oscar Paul Tom X-ray. They secured a 2.1 million in new orders for space optics. Ticker TV, Tom Victor, that's Grupo Televisa, co-CEO, Overhaul Television's news network, news cover. PLTR, stocks up big, expands contract with U.S. Special Operations Command. Palantir's rallying, stocks up, $5.50 this morning. Macy's, Barrington Capital and Thor Equities team up in a stake in Macy's. BIOA, Boy India, Oscar, Alpha. Stocks falling as company discontinues its clinical trial for its obesity treatment. Not good. Arthur J. Gallagher said has agreed in principle to acquire insurance broker Assured Partners in a $13.45 billion deal. AJG. Alphabet, Meta, Microsoft, Snap, they're all said to be, companies that are positive on this TikTok sale that could happen. Boeing's head of government affairs, top lobbyist, is leaving effective immediately. The CEO told employees on Friday. Lockheed Martin, LKT, the U.S. government unveiled a $988 million aid package of new arms and equipment to Ukraine. Cisco's looking to have their annual shareholders meeting today at 11 a.m. That's all I see this morning, Emily.
Okay, Bill, before we sign off and dive into another week of trading on this Monday, let's take a look back on Friday and your pick of the day. I pointed out earlier in the show was Toll Brothers. Their earnings are due out today, and I did see some expert insights coming across the tape over the weekend mentioning the prediction that housing stocks are headed for a rebound, sort of a delayed response to the Fed's previous rate cuts this year. You were looking at Toll Brothers, hoping for a specific entry point that you would get some momentum ahead of this earnings report. So, Bill, how did your call work out?
Well, let's look at the numbers. The stock opened up at 156.94 and fell to 152.64 and closed at 154.10. I'm in at 154.25. I'm not out yet. The stock's trading 155 to 155.70. So it's positive from my entry point, but I'm not at the 1%, but I think I'm going to hit it because I'm 10 cents away on the offer. So I think I'll get filled. It's just a matter of time. I need to give it a little bit more time, but it looks like I'll gain that 1%. I'll hit that 1% based on the entry price, Emily.
Bill, you are being patient there with this one and seeing some upward momentum. So we will hang tight and our fingers are crossed to get that 1% gain there. And we will check in with you tomorrow about today's Oracle pick of the day. Bill, thank you as always for your expert insight. Join us back here tomorrow and each weekday morning this week at NewsWare's Trade Talk when we provide the facts, themes, and trading ideas for the day ahead. Again, I'm your host, Emily Advani, here with trading anchor Bill Olson. Traders, you know what to do. Let's go out there and make some green.